If you were not able to make it to Tom Ferry's Success Summit out in Dallas, Texas in 2023, this video should hopefully help. I'm going to cover what I learned, what I plan on implementing, the books that I now have to read, and my giveaway, which is I purchased tickets for next year's Success Summit at a very steep discount. And I'm giving probably 2 of those tickets to those in my downline. So if you're my downline watching this, hit me up. It's going to be for those who have the most transactions in 2024 by the time that conference comes around. However, if you don't plan on going to that conference, that's okay. I would love to share with you the notes that I took because I took so many notes during this conference. So if you're interested in diving deeper into any of the topics that I mentioned during this video, or maybe a topic that I didn't cover because I can't possibly cover all the topics of what was covered during Summit, schedule a call with me. Let's talk one-on-one, and I'm happy to share my notes with you afterward. Ali Garced, or Ali the Agent, on all social media. And first of all, with this conference, I did not expect thousands of people to be there. I have been to plenty of conferences, but mainly they've been real estate investing conferences where typically it's a smaller group and there are multiple sessions going on at once. So you kind of just choose which session you want to go to. But in this conference, everybody is all in one big conference room, which sometimes was cold, sometimes was a little bit too warm. So bring a jacket, you might not need it. There were a bunch of awesome people that I got to talk to and potential guests for my podcast that I host, which is The Agent Goldmine. So check it out if you haven't already. But overall, no matter what level of the real estate sales game you're in, whether you're just starting out and you haven't had any transactions yet, or you're somewhere in the middle, you're a team lead, you're a broker owner, you walked away with plenty of information to implement into your business. First off, I stayed at the hotel where the conference was taking place, which is always what I recommend. Is it more expensive? Yes, absolutely, by a lot, but it's worth it because otherwise, right where the deepest networking is happening, whether it's right before, like in the gym the morning of, or in the lobby bar in the evenings, that's where the biggest networking is. So you don't want to have to then take an Uber or drive to your Airbnb to your other hotel, whatever. You want to be where everybody is, so just stay at the hotel. Also, a random side note is I liked the fact that they had no designated bathroom breaks because otherwise they'd be like, okay, sweet, bathroom break, 15-minute break, and everybody, thousands of people would go flooding to the bathrooms and it just wouldn't be efficient. So I liked that about this conference. Another thing is I've been following along and listening to Tom Ferry's podcast religiously, multiple podcasts a day, and I told myself that if I didn't like the income that I was making by the time I listened and implemented every single podcast that he ever put out, that at that point I might consider paying for coaching. So I did that. I became obsessed the last 2 years. I listened to every single podcast, I implemented everything, and do I like my income now? Yes, absolutely. However, at this conference and all over this book, they had a super strong guarantee which said I would make an extra $101,000 within the next 12 months, or I could get my entire money back that I paid for coaching. That is a very strong guarantee. For me to increase my GCI by an additional 6 figures, that's pretty nice. So I signed up for coaching. And I honestly did this because of the guarantee. The guarantee was so good. A little bit of background about me. The first year of me being an agent, I was part-time. I was still active duty Air Force. I separated as a major. I did 20 transactions while I was still traveling with the military. The second year of me being a realtor, I became top 2% of all of eXp Realty. I did 40 transactions. I grew the community by 30 people, and I essentially turned eXp into a free brokerage for me because of the amount of transactions I was doing. I actually got the call during the Tom Ferry conference saying, congratulations, you are an icon agent, and you will be getting back the $16,000 that you paid as a cap back to you in the form of stock, and half of that is gonna be placed in your account by tomorrow. I'm like, wow, that's super cool. So then the other half, of course, this isn't about EXP, but the other half will be just by teaching in the EXP world to other agents. So even that, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. You know, my first year of doing this full time, I became top 2%, but being surrounded by so many people at that conference where 40 transactions a year was so small compared to that. They were doing 100, 300, 700 transactions a year blew my mind. I was like, man, and they all have coaches. There's gotta be a reason for that. You know, I know that I implement. I was mistaken and I thought originally that those who needed coaches and sign up for coaching were those that needed to be told what to do and kind of handheld, like, hey, Allie, did you make your cold calls? And I was like, that, I don't need that. You know, I have the own drive within me. That's not for me. But knowing that I'm specifically trying to work prospecting through YouTube and I don't know what I don't know, I signed up and that guarantee was great. So I'll keep you posted on how that goes. Another reason I signed up for coaching is because I have a downline now that I want to help out. I am financially incentivized to help them out. So every single lesson, every single coaching session that I'm gonna have, which is every single week with my coach Renee, I am going to be taking notes and I'm going to be sending it to those in my downline so they can benefit too. And lastly, with that is I now have the Tom Ferry ecosystem for referral partners. Prior to this, I didn't always have a great agent at every single location, but now I can just go into the website, I can just pop in the location, and whoever pops out, I know that they take their business seriously if they're paying quite a pretty penny for coaching. However, even if you didn't sign up for coaching, this is not even a coaching push at all, you still walked away from this conference with a ton of value. For example, stop saying past clients. I had always said past clients, but your clients shouldn't just be a one and done in the past. They should be your forever clients, just like you should be their forever realtor. So don't say past clients anymore. What I learned from Treasure Davis, who is a realtor out in Colorado Springs, is to always be the backup offer. I never thought about being the backup offer. I would always just verbally submit, you know, an offer, just verbal, but to be an official backup offer, 25% of escrows fall out of contract, right? So why not be that automatic shoe in? I think maybe I hadn't done this before because my clients didn't want to take those 2 weeks, you know, out, and they would have rather just been submitting an offer on a property that doesn't yet have other offers. But that's a great point, to be the automatic shoe in. What I learned from Dwayne Pano out of Houston, Texas, is to instead of calling your database and saying, hey, is there anything real estate related that I can do for you? Instead, call them and say, hey, is there anything on your to-do list that I can do for you? And that comes from service first. Something that I'm going to be adding to my buyer's presentation, which I don't know why I've never said this before, is to specifically tell the buyers, hey, when you're looking on Zillow, do not call those numbers. What Zillow's going to do is transfer you to 16 other realtors that are going to be calling you, bombarding you with texts and phone calls. So any questions that you have, call me instead. And to outright ask them, hey, how much money do you have in your bank account, you and your spouse combined or whoever it is, to be able to pay for the earnest money, the inspections, the down payment, the closing costs. Another thing is to make sure that it's in your calendar as a recurring annual event that every single buyer that you helped close, send them a market valuation, send them a CMA as a courtesy. And if you listen to Tom Ferry podcast, you've probably already heard this before, but they talked about the lazy ZMA a lot. Sending 3 to 5 of these out every single day is going to dramatically increase your business. And what is a lazy ZMA, in case you haven't listened to the Tom Ferry podcast recently? It's taking a screenshot of a property's address on Zillow, because Zillow is what everybody knows, and sending it to that homeowner saying, these are Zillow's thoughts, I have my own, what are yours? And starting the conversation that way. So what happens when they respond back? You get the listing appointment. You ask them, when was the last time that you had a professional market valuation done on your property? Oh, never? I'm happy to do that for you. And then you can follow up and say, if I could find a buyer that would pay 15% more than what Zillow is showing, would you sell your home? Another great line that I heard was, treat every lead like they will convert or none of them will. Something else to say at a listing presentation is, a good agent will show you their marketing plan, but a great agent will have already started the marketing on your property. And you can show them how you've done that, which is you can send your buyers an email saying, hey, tomorrow or next week, I'm meeting with a potential seller. Do you want to know the details of their house? AI was a huge topic that was covered throughout multiple days of this conference, and I loved it. It's so cool to see such forward, progressive thinkers. One way to utilize AI is to have AI listen in on your appointments, whether it's a Zoom call or in person. You can have AI be a note taker for you. So in that way, you can be completely present, you and the buyer, you and the seller, you and the investor, whoever it is, you and the client, you and the agent, and have AI be listening in, taking notes for you. So in that way, you're not distracted and there's no question later on down the road as to what you promised them or they promised you, vice versa. ChatGPT, of course, was covered as well as a ton of other, I would say maybe 30 other applications that are specifically focused on AI. But specifically for ChatGPT, which is the most common, you can easily use that to create more content for buyers and sellers if you are prospecting that way. First of all, you should have ChatGPT on your phone, and not just on your phone as an app, but on the first page. So I now have that. But you can plug into ChatGPT, hey, what are the seller's biggest concerns right now, 2023, or buyers in this location, wherever? And with the concerns that it generates, you can make content from that and answer those questions. You can also upload spreadsheets into ChatGPT, so you can download all of your Google reviews or all of your Zillow reviews and tell ChatGPT to analyze that for you. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? And you can make content out of your strengths and you can work on your weaknesses. Another app that I had never heard of was an app called Hurdler, Hurdlr. Yep, it's missing an E. And I think there's a free version, but I paid for the paid version. And it's a super easy way for tax season and to help out your CPA. Every single expense that you have, you can quickly itemize, say personal or business. And if it is business, which one? So I'm excited to use that. Because real estate can easily put a strain on your family because we tend to work a ton of long hours. One of the speeches was on optimism and leading a healthy life, starting with gratitude. And one fun fact that they said was if you and your spouse every night before bed say one thing that you're grateful for the other person, whether it's something that they did, like an action they did, or just them as a person, every single night for 6 weeks in a row, you'll start becoming more physically attracted to them. I found that crazy. But overall, they talked about how just you being grateful changes your outlook on life. And the more grateful you are, the happier you are, the longer you'll live, and the more sales and business you'll do. It's all correlated. So overall, spend more time being grateful for people instead of being grateful for things. I wrote down these books that I had not read yet. These are not all the books that were covered. These are just the ones that I haven't yet read. And that's starting with number 1, Phil Jones, Exactly What to Say. Number 2 on the list is Influence by Robert Cialdini. Number 3 is The Conversion Code by Chris Smith. Number 4 is The Law of Reciprocity. And number 5 is The Growth Mindset by Rick Capozzi. Those are now on my list of books to read or listen to. And some other lessons learned are take at least one, I would say 3 days right after the conference to just be on your own, think about everything of what you just learned. Take just a couple of things, 1 to 3 things that you're actually going to implement into your business consistently and start. Put it into your calendar and just start. Otherwise, it's super easy to just get into the analysis paralysis. Oh my gosh, I learned so much. I don't even know where to start implementing. I really loved that this conference had so much value in content because the conferences that I'm used to going, which are mainly on the investing side, are more so for LobbyCon and hanging out in the lobby and kind of drinking and networking as opposed to the content in the sessions. So I will be going back next year and I'm gonna be bringing as many people as I can with me. And those 2 tickets are gonna be going to those in my downline who produced the most in 2024. I'm excited to give those out. So comment below if you are going next year. Comment below if you went this year and we didn't meet. I would love to talk to you. But again, if you want to have a deeper dive on any of these topics that I've listed, or if you want my notes, schedule a call with me. I'm more than happy to talk to you and send you those notes. Until next time.